Gonna break down all the risers and fallers in fantasy football's week 6 based on the early games. Start with the guys going down. We start with Garrett Wilson. First they called it a hip injury, then it was a knee injury. Then we saw his post game where he said, "I'm just waiting for the stuff to come back. It's really messing with my mental and I don't want to think about it." Has never missed a game, had an awful game. Don't worry about the matchup with Patrick Surtain, but this injury is a little bit worrisome. Marvin Harrison Jr. almost certainly had a concussion. Expect him to miss a game. Puka Nacua had his first down game of the season, largely because he got injured midway through. I'm considering dropping him down just a little bit from the top of my board because this is a guy who gets banged up. He has a physical style of play. Hassan Haskins gets a slight downgrade. If you haven't already seen my video, it has over 250,000 views right now. I broke down Kamani Vidal versus Hassan Haskins before this week. I told you guys Vidal was the guy to get, unlike most experts. By the way, you can see where I rank all these players at fansports.com. I'm updating those rankings every single day. Every time I mention a guy in this video, he's getting a note and getting an up or down. My hit rate is pretty good on this stuff. Ask my comments what percentage of all the fantasy football leagues I've won in the last 20 plus years. A couple receivers get downgrades because we're reminded about their volatility and target share, starting with Stephon Diggs. Thought he was clearly the #1 receiver here, but Kayshon Boutte still has some skills, and they do have a deep wide receiver core on the Patriots. I've been lower than Cortland Sutton than most experts this whole entire season. This is why Denver has several weapons, and he's going to have games where he's just not used that much. I've also been lower than most experts on Michael Pittman Jr. for the same exact reason. Colts have a plethora of weapons. They're a run-first offense. You don't want to trust a receiver in that kind of environment. David Njoku gets a downgrade because he had a knee injury here. Now let's break down some of the guys whose stocks are going up. Start with Kamani Vidal. Again, I was the only expert I know of who said this is clearly the guy to target in the Chargers backfield. We saw why. Way more explosion, had a great game. Ramondre Stevenson was very inefficient. I'm giving another slight upgrade to Travion Henderson. Get him before it's too late. Arizona, Zay Jones basically did what Marvin Harrison Jr. would do. He's worth a pickup. And Trey McBride gets an upgrade. He's the #1 overall tight end right now because he's basically the #1 receiver in this offense. Unlike most experts, I did not overreact to Brian Thomas Jr.'s slow start. This is why he had a touchdown, a big game. He had another big touchdown called back as well because Travis Hunter was just a toe offside. Drakemaye's been my guy since preseason. This is why top 5 QB rest of the year. I've been low on Derrick Henry, but I have to admit he showed me a lot this game. I like that his longest rush was only 12 yards and he still had 5 yards per carry. He's not reliant on big runs necessarily. He's still got it. There's a case that Jackson Smith-Njigba is the best receiver in the NFL and could be #1 overall. 50% target share is insane. George Pickens and Jake Ferguson continue to rise, showing what they can do without CeeDee Lamb, or even with CeeDee Lamb. I think they're pretty elite. Same for Dak Prescott. This is a great offense to be in with a poor defense, lots of shootouts. He's consistent. Back-to-back 200-yard games for Rico Dowdle. Are you kidding? Chuba Hubbard is a big downgrade. Rico Dowdle is the guy here. I've been talking about Harold Fannin Jr. since preseason. Finally, he got 10 targets, 7 catches, 81 yards, and Njoku injured. This is his offense. Expect Dylan Gabriel to keep throwing him the ball in the future. I've also stayed steady on Ladd McConkey all year, and this is why. He's the best receiver on the Chargers still. Slight upgrade. And finally, I gotta admit that Devonta Chain is probably a top 5 running back. He showed some rushing ability that'll go along with his receiving ability. It's very impressive. Don't forget to check out fansports.com to see where I rank all these players along with my trade analyzer, my start sit feature, new stuff I'm developing every single week. I appreciate you guys spending a few valuable minutes of your day with me here. Let me know what you thought. I'll see you in the next one. Stay learning. Peace.